Hi there, and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we'll be learning about linear equations, okay? And under linear equations, we'll be learning to solve simple linear equations. Now, at this point, I'd remind you to set the video to play in 1080p HD. Very important that you do so you see everything clearly. And as the lesson progresses, if you have any issues at all, anything you don't understand, anything comes up as unclear, please feel free to get in touch. Okay, we would be more than happy to help. Okay, so let's jump right into the lesson. So linear equations, solving simple linear equations. Now, what exactly are linear equations? Now, linear equations are algebraic equations that contain a single variable of the first order. Now, let's understand that. A single variable. Now, a variable is something that isn't constant, something that isn't defined. A variable is something that can change. For example, x. We usually represent variables in mathematics with letters. X could be anything. If you solved a few linear equations in the past, you would know that x could be 5, x could be 7, okay? So, a variable isn't constant, okay, and we usually represent variables with letters in mathematics. So a linear equation contains a single variable, okay. Now we often have equations that contain 2, 3, 4, 5 variables, but those are simultaneous equations and we'll learn about those later, okay. But now we have a single variable and of the first order. Now the first order, what does that mean? A single variable of the first order is just simply mean we have the variable to the power of 1, okay, or the variable in itself, so just x in this case. We actually have equations that contain variables of the second order, so we have x squared, and those are called quadratic equations, but we would get to all of those later on. But now we're talking linear equations, and linear equations are algebraic equations that contain a single variable of the first order. So an example of this would be x plus 1 equals 5. So this is an equation, an algebraic equation, and we have that x plus 1 equals 5, and it's simply asking what would you add to 1 to give you 5, and we have that x equals 4. Okay, so we also have another one here. We have that 3y equals 21. Okay, and this is simply asking what would 3 multiply to give you 21. 3 will multiply 7 to give you 21, so you can say that y in this case is 7. It's actually simple, very simple basic concept. Now to solve linear equations, there are actually two things you need to know about. Okay, so you need to first know how to move across the equal sign. Now what is this about, moving across the equal sign? Now anytime you're faced with a linear equation, you have one simple goal, okay, one simple target, and that is to get x. You want to have x or whatever variable you're dealing with on the left and all the numbers on the right. Okay, so x on the left, all the numbers on the right. So if you have x plus 1 equals 5, you want to have just x on the left, you want to have all the numbers on the right. So x plus 1 equals 5. I'm looking to have x on the left and all the numbers on the right. So I already have x on the left, but I have a 1 alongside x on the left. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and move that 1 over to the right across the equal sign. Okay, now anytime we move numbers, we move them alongside the signs in front of them. Okay, so if you have plus 1, you move plus 1. All right, so we're going to move plus 1 across this equal sign over to the left, and what we have is we have x equals 5. All right, and when you move plus 1 over to the right, it becomes minus 1. Okay, so x equals 5 minus 1. All right, and then x equals 5 minus 1, x equals 4. Simple. That's all there is to it. So idea is to have just x on the left and all the numbers on the right. All right, and basically you have x plus 1 in this case equaling 5, and you're simply going to move the 1 because you want to have just x on the left. You're going to move that plus 1 over to the right, and basically you have that x equals 5 minus 1, and when you solve that, 5 minus 1, x equals 4. Okay, so The other thing you need to know about is dividing both sides. Now, you divide both sides when you have a multiplier, okay? So if you have an algebraic term like 3y, okay, involving a number and a variable, or a constant and a variable, numbers are called constants. So you have a constant and a variable 3y, okay, and they're multiplying each other, and the coefficient of the variable is a number multiplying that variable in the term. So if you have 3y, the coefficient of y in 3y is 3. If you have 7x, the coefficient of x in 7x is 7. If you have 15y squared, the coefficient of y squared in 15y squared is 15. So what those are coefficients. That's what coefficients are about. So if you have 3y equals 21, you look at your variable there and the term with your variable there, you have 3y, and the number multiplying y in 3y, i.e. the coefficient of y in 3y, is 3. And when we have something like this, so we have 3y equals 21, what we do is we divide both sides by the coefficient of the variable. Okay, so we divide by 3, we divide by 3, and we cancel 3 would cancel 3. Okay, so we're left with y. Notice we have just y on the left now. The target is always to get just the variable on the left and all the numbers on the right. Okay, so we've gotten rid of the 3 multiplying y, and then we do the same on the right. Okay, and we have 21 divided by 3, and we have 7. And what you end up with is you have the y equals 7. Very simple concept. All you need to know is you need to know that the main aim is to get the variable on its own and all the numbers on the right. Okay, and then if you have something added or multiplied, or something added or subtracted from the variable, you move across the equal sign. Okay, if you have something multiplying the variable, you divide both sides. Very simple. Let's solve a few examples. So example 1. And example 1 says if m minus 17 equals 31, and on the left, so we have m equals, move minus 17 over to the right. Okay, so example 2 now. And example 2 says if 7p equals 42, find p. So we have the constant multiplying the variable here. So we have 7 multiplying p. And what we're going to do here is we're going to divide both sides. So the coefficient of p in this case is 7. So we divide both sides by 7. So we have 7 here and we're left with p on the left. And then we have 7 on the right and we're left with 6. And what we have in the end is we have p equals 6. And yeah, that's it. Very simple. Now let's do another example. Example 3. Ooh, example 3 looks very interesting. So we have if 2x plus 4 equals 19 minus 3x, okay, find x. And what we have here is a mix. We have numbers multiplying the variable, we have numbers added or subtracted from the variable. And how do we approach this? Now, so we have 2x plus 4 equals 19 minus 3x. What we're going to do is we're going to try and get all the x's together, okay, and all the numbers together. So we want to have 2x and 3x on the left, okay, and 4 and 19 on the right. So first I'm going to move 4 over to the right, plus 4, and it will become minus 4. And we're left with 2x equals 19 minus 3x minus 4, okay. And then we're going to move minus 3x over to the left and it becomes plus 3x. So we're left with 2x plus 3x equals 19 minus 4. And finally, when we solve this out, we have 2x plus 3x equals 5x, and we have 19 minus 4 equals 15. And yeah, we're left with 5x equals 15. And from this point on, we simply just go ahead and divide both sides. So we have 5x equals 15. We're going to divide both sides by the coefficient of the variable x, and which is 5. So we have divided by 5, divided by 5. And what we have in the end is we have that x equals 3. Very simple, very straightforward. Let's move on. Now, example 4. And example 4 says if 4k minus 5 minus 2k equals 31, find k. Now, this is actually very interesting. Okay, we have a very small difference here. And our one difference is the fact that we have brackets in this case. So we have 4k minus 5 minus 2k equals 31. And the first thing we want to do here is we want to get rid of those brackets there. Okay, so how do we go about doing this? So we have 4k minus 5 minus 2k equals 31. So 4k minus 5, okay, and then we have 4k minus 2k. Okay, we want to get rid of those brackets, so we have 4k minus 5, okay, minus 2k, okay, because the minus outside applies to the minus 2k as well. And when you have minus 2k, it becomes plus 2k. So 4k minus 5 and 4k minus 2k equals 4k minus 5 minus 2k becomes plus 2k equals 31. Okay, and what we have is we have 4k plus 2k. When you bring the like terms together, you have 6k minus 5 equals 31. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move minus 5 over to the right. I have 6k equals 31 plus 5. Okay, 6k equals 36. So what are we going to do from this point? We have 6k equals 36. What we need to do now is we need to say if 6k equals 36, we divide both sides by the coefficient of k, 6, and we have k equals 6. Very simple. Okay, so yeah, let's do another example. I think we have one final example. Wow, this one looks very interesting. So we have 4 multiplying 3f minus 1 equals 11f minus 3 multiplying f minus 4, and we've been asked to find f. Okay, so how do we approach this? Now we have a fair number of brackets here. We actually have 2 brackets, and the first thing we need to do is we need to get rid of those brackets. Okay, so just take a step, one step at a time. So we have to get rid of those brackets, we have 4 multiplying 3f minus 1, and that will give us 12f minus 4. Okay, so 4 multiplying 3f will give us 12f, and 4 multiplying minus 1 will give us minus 4. Okay, equals 11f minus 3 multiplying f will give you minus 3f, and minus 3 multiplying minus 4 will give you plus 12. Okay, so now we can simplify. I think we'll just look at 11f minus 3f there, and we'll work that. We have 8f. So what you have is you have 12f minus 4 equals 8f plus 12. Now we're going to move our variables around. I'm going to move 8f over to the left, okay, and it will become minus 8f, and I'm going to move minus 4 over to the right, and it will become plus 4. So 8f over to the left, I have 12f minus 8f, and minus 4 over to the right, I have 12 plus 4. Okay, and now if I simplify that out, I have 12f minus 8f is 4f, and 12 plus 4 is 16. So I have 4f equals 16, and now I'm just going to divide both sides by the coefficient of f, which is 4. So I have 4f equals 16, and I'm going to have that f equals 4. And that is actually all there is to solving simple linear equations. Okay, you just need to remember 2 things. Okay, moving across the equal sign and dividing both sides. Once you know that, there really isn't any linear equation you come across that you wouldn't be able to solve. It's just a matter of simplifying down. You could have brackets, you could have variables on both sides, you could have different scenarios basically, but it comes down to two basic things. Okay, the idea is to get the variable alone on the left and all the numbers on the right, and then when you have something added to the variable, you move it across the equal sign and the sign in front of that number changes. Okay, and if you have something multiplying the variable, you divide both sides by said coefficient multiplying the variable. So yeah, that would bring us to the end of this lesson, and bye for now.